All right, everybody, that's quite enough of all that crap-ass music. Unhappy Thursday, folks. Coming to you live once again from my humble abode here in Fairfield Township, Ohio. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us, as always, from wherever you may be and whatever device you're using to stream us on YouTube. So please pull up a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if God forbid you're still stuck at work. Crack open a cold one, and let's have some fun as we put an end to day 4 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to Friday and the weekend. Right. Baseball cap in the room. How you doing, my friend? Defending freedom. It looks like your whole family's defending freedom now, huh? I love it. Dave Califoot, 2Ks. Lou Mancini, what's up, my people? Randall Gilmore. Well, Gilmore is a ham, that's for sure. Those of you that know me best definitely know I will ham it up all over the place. Keenan Harbin, yo, everybody. I hear if I send my boss a text that says F you, I won't have to go to work anymore. Yeah, that might get it done. Unless, of course, you're working for yourself. Then I don't know what to tell you. So nice to see everybody there. Califoot trying to break my balls all day with Aaron Judge, and I've told him before, and I'll tell him again now, and I'll tell all of you. Aaron Judge has to hit in October. Otherwise, he's Alex Rodriguez 2.0. It's that simple. I said that much to him in a message. I don't know why he continues to think I'm out here defending what Judge isn't doing, but once again, our good friend Breaker19 there is far off base. And as always, whenever a post about a Yankees player or team doing something, usually the first comments come from Red Sox fans. So it's just always nice to live rent-free in those heads that didn't even make the playoffs. So anyways, we're going to have some fun tonight. Those of you that are in for some Dallas Cowgirls bashing, stick around. We're going to do plenty of that. I don't know. I mean, we'll get to the birds if we can, but the Dallas stuff is just almost too much. Like, it's it deserves its day in the sun or its day in the shitter, if that's the way you want to look at it. Let's get the business out of the way first, so we can move on to our fun. Everyone, we are proudly sponsored by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia, just minutes away from the sports complex. Cheerleaders brings you the area's most beautiful women on 5 different stages. Open 7 days a week from noon to 2 a.m. and until 4 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. For group information, call 215-467-1980. Also offering free parking, a full menu, daily drink and food specials, and a premium selection of cigars and a cigar lounge. If you're looking for a place to watch your favorite sporting event and you can't make it out to the ballpark or to the link, head on out to Cheerleaders and enjoy the 75-foot HD TV wall as well as HD TV screens throughout the club. Once again, folks, that's Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philly. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group information, party packages, private rooms, whatever suits your fancy. All right. This is the part where I used to tell you Facebook or Twitter, but you can only be viewing us on YouTube because that's where we're at. So please make sure you're sharing that everywhere, whether you just share this show. We prefer you share the Green Legion YouTube channel everywhere. Okay. We want to flood the interwebs with the Green Legion and with Green Legion Radio. Not just this show, but of course the Green Legion Radio broadcast of the Fox Sports pregame show before every Philadelphia Eagles game, both at home and on the road at our tailgate locations. Always a good time. In a week or so, a week from Sunday, that pregame show, I'm guessing, will consist of our fearless leader, Quimby, our fearless defending freedom, Captain Dempse, and my fat ass here in Cincinnati. So stay tuned for that one. The Cincinnati game, in case you guys didn't see the posts yesterday, It is the Bengals whiteout game. Okay, and I know it's going to make Califoot sick because it's it sounds like a Penn State thing, but the Bengals have their color rush uniforms, and it is a white on white with black stripes, and they deck out the whole stadium and everything with that. And a lot of the fans will wear all white as well. What does that mean for us? Well, green never looked so good standing out in a crowd full of white. So you should be able to see clearly where your Birds fans are this Sunday. Cap, just so you know, we are upper level north end zone, and there are 125 tickets that are all together. So that should be nothing but a sea of green. And when you get out here, I will be happy to tell you the Uncle Craig story and what all that leads to for game day. Should be a good time. Over here on my left, I've got the Yankees playoff game on. They are doing their best to lose this game. But, look, when you're not going to, and there's a base hit through, it's 3-1 Cleveland now. But you're not going to beat teams scoring one run. It's just not going to happen. And Aaron Judge has to hit. He's got to hit. So that's it. Well, of course, tonight nobody's hitting. You got one run on the board. But I know you guys don't care about that. And I will try to stay away from baseball. I know it's still a sore subject for a lot of you. Over on the National League, what I will tell you is the Yankees definitely have the easier road. Playing Kansas City in the first round and now Cleveland. And I'm not trying to say Cleveland's a bad team. They're likely going to win this game tonight. But the National League, I think both the Mets and the Dodgers are better than this Indians team. So if the Yankees manage to get through this series and actually get to a World Series, they think they're going to come out and make base running errors like they've been doing. If they think Aaron Judge isn't going to hit and they're still going to win a World Series against either of those teams in the National League, I got a rude awakening for you guys. For any Yankee fan out there, it's not going to happen. So that's about all I'm going to say about the baseball and the thing. So if you catch me glancing over here, it's just because the game's still on. And of course I am trying to pay attention. Yeah, a little bit more about the game here. So let me get over to the room here. Yeah. Captain Dennis, what up, boys? Califoot. Maybe if you get Judge a lap dance, he might hit the ball. Look, I mean, whatever wakes him up. Lou Mancini, you guys see all those AI news conferences? Oh, yeah. Those things are hysterical. I mean, it looks so real. It's absolutely a riot. Keenan Harmon, am I going to be on the bus to the swamp this Sunday with any of you fine folks? Cap, are you riding a bus to the swamp this Sunday? That would be he would be the one to ask. And then Keenan again, Super Sam is threatening to go to Cincy. You've been warned. I'm pretty sure she's going to be here, bud. So, and I'm looking forward to it. I just like everybody else, I absolutely love Super Sam. She is one of my favorite people without a doubt. Cap, the Mutombo stories. Yeah, I definitely am interested in that. Just a great human being. Mike English, the White Bengals are tight. Yeah, dude, I can't wait until we wipe our ass with all of that. I mean, I'm sorry, but look, I understand they look cool and stuff, but I could give a flying crap when it's against my boys. Lou Mancini, English, pork roller bacon. True story, in 2005, I wore a midnight green TO jersey in the student section whiteout, and they gave me a white shirt, so I know all about green and white. Cap is in charge on the bus. There we go. Now you're talking. All right. Okay. So, a little bit more about Cincinnati. The tailgate right now, well, let me pull it up and just be sure I'm not giving you bad information because things are changing kind of frequently here just because of this stupid NFL. You guys have all seen that now. They switched our game from 4:25 to 1 o'clock, which really sucks. But But I mean, it is what it is. You want to, I was looking forward to the 425 start because you don't have to get up real early for tailgate and radio show and stuff like that. But it just moves everything up 3 hours. The other part of it is right now we are doing. There's two venues that we're looking at. Still the Filson, but then also Moorline Lager House, which is like right around the corner from the Filson. Both of them are right down at the banks in Cincy, just a few minute walk from Paycor Field. Not and nothing crazy. Q and Steph, I think mostly Q at this point, is trying to get worked out so that we're all at the Filson, right? So we can get all 400 people in there. But it may end up where we're split. What I've tried to tell people is, look, even if it ends up that way, you're still going to be in a huge group of Birds fans. It's going to be a blast. It always is. And let's be honest, you guys all know, but a lot of my folks here in Cincinnati haven't been on a trip with the Legion before, haven't done anything with us before. And so they're a little, like, what's going to happen? And I understand the hysteria and everything at first when that got released. But at the same time, what I've told everyone is this company's been doing this for well over, what is it, 23 years now? 22 years, 23 years. And I've been lucky enough to be a part of it for the last several. We always pull off. Everything always ends up great. So everyone just needs to chill, and it's going to work out just fine. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you that are coming out here. Obviously, Cap, like English, I haven't seen you since Indianapolis. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Cincinnati's not exactly the destination, right? I've said it before. I'll say it again. Nobody looks at the NFL schedule and says, oh boy, I really need 4 days in Cincinnati at the end of October. But it does have a little bit of a small city charm. Everything you need is going to be right there within walking distance of our hotel. So if you're coming out and you're staying with us, Uber rides and or walk, to everything. There are plenty of good restaurants around. I know Jay Vegnetti reached out and asked about a list of restaurants. If I could get that to her, I gave her a number of different places. So, I mean, it's not without its benefits too. And the tailgate locations are fantastic. The banks in Cincinnati, it's right down at the river. And there is Freedom Way that runs in between the Great American Ballpark and Paycor Field. Right in through there is nothing but bars and restaurants and what have you. The Filson is almost dead smack in between the two stadiums. Moorline Lager House is like right around the corner. So like I said, even if there are two venues that we're using, you're not missing out on anything. I absolutely promise. All right. What do we got here? I feel protected, Cap. 10 days. Keenan Harmon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought they didn't flex games until midseason and beyond. That's changed, buddy. The networks control all of it now. So whatever's in the verbiage between the league and the networks is where all this comes from. So you can shame on the league for putting that in there, but can you really blame them when they're getting paid billions for their product? And you can't blame the networks who are paying said billions that want to get the best ratings they can. And right now, let's not act like the Eagles have been world beaters coming out of the gates here, right? We're 3-2, but it's not looked all that great. And for the Bengals, they're 2-4, and they've looked awful. I mean, even that win on Sunday night over the Giants was ugly. Against a bad Giants team. Not to mention the fact, and I think the other thing that people are not considering, the Cincinnati Bengals do not have the national following that the Philadelphia Eagles do. Okay, that also plays a big role, right? You don't see Bengal fans going out and taking over places. right? Unless it's in LA versus the Chargers, and then everybody takes that over. I think the Citadel would take over that stadium. But those are your contributing factors. So should we be upset about it? Yeah. As Birds fans, we should be. It's a slap in the face, especially because they flexed us out to put a game in there between Chicago and Washington because they wanted the two rookie quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. But can you blame the networks? Eagles haven't played exciting football since week 1. Us getting excited over it is really more a series of mini heart attacks each week. I think you'd all agree with me there. But it's not been exciting football. The Bengals have a high-powered passing offense that has been erratic at best. And they don't have the national draw that the Birds do. So, I mean, look, if this is Philly-Dallas at 425, there's no way it gets flexed out. We're not, right now, we are not quite enough to just carry that kind of audience when there's a game with two exciting young quarterbacks. That's just more of a draw right now. And Chicago travels well. So that's where we are. Bengal fans are not happy about it either, but I don't really care about them. So, Josh, the Bengals defense looks awful. We still need to be aware of their offense. Absolutely. They can throw the ball all over the yard. We all know that between Chase and Higgins with Burrow throwing on the ball. It's not like we're going on and on. It's not like we're going to walk in here and just expect to completely shut them down. That's not going to happen. What I do want to see, and I keep hearing about Darius Slay not practicing or whatever, I'm fine with it. Give me Mitchell on one side, give me Rodgers on the other, put DeJohn in the slot, and let's go. I've about had it with Slay and all his crap. Yeah, better for TV ratings. Mike English, you're absolutely right. English says it can be at 5 a.m. I'm oof, Lord. No one likes us. We don't care. That is the truth. And you have an early flight on Monday. Got it. So that does change things. Captain Demps, all in for 1 p.m. games. Move them all. So here's my thing. When I'm not going to a game and doing tailgate and all that stuff, 1 o'clock game is my jam. I'll take 17 of them. But when I'm going to a game and I got to get up and go, and go do tailgate and then, and do radio show and all of that stuff, which I absolutely love doing. And I don't care what hour it is, I'm going to be there. I was looking for, I prefer the 4 o'clock start because then you're not up so damn early, right? Or you're up, but you don't have to get motivated, right? For a few hours anyways. But you're not going to hear me complain. Here we are. It's going to be a 1 o'clock game. Tailgate will be 8 to noon. Let's go. And Mike English, you can stop at Bengal fans aren't happy. That's very true. And immediately, once they start losing games, the whole fan base becomes defeatist. I mean, all of them. So, what I can tell you is if they go lose to Cleveland this weekend, a lot of these folks are going to jump off the ship. They're going to stop. They'll stop coming. That's just how it is out here. They turn coat very, very, very easily. And Mike English, again, very correct. At least it's not Monday night like they did last year. I agree. So it felt like last year we were playing primetime like every week. It's the way it felt. The last couple of years, if we were getting flexed, it was flexed to a later time. And, that's just not the case this year. We're going to get flexed into an earlier window. So it's an indictment on both franchises. I would say more on the Bengals than it is on the Eagles. But be that as it may, it's still an indictment on the Birds. All right. Enough about all that. Let's get down to the fun stuff. And guys, like I said, if we get to Birds talk, fine. But this Dallas stuff is, I'm sure, why you guys are sitting in here waiting. Boner of the week. The only one thing to say is, how about them Cowboys? Look, I know we didn't look great on Sunday, but we won. And if we get to the Bird stuff, I would tell you we're a blocked. A better job by Saquon getting a first down, a better play call after that, and not getting a field goal blocked away from winning by double digits. But we'll save that for now. The Cowboys, and we're gonna put this up early right here in the boner of the week portion of the show. I have got plenty of notes for this, so please feel free to come in and give your opinions on this. Sticking to this, though. Califoot, you come in here and start talking Yankees, I'm going to kick you out, or I'm just going to mute you and let you sit there. If we've got time later for that, we'll do that then. But right now, we're talking Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Not just Jerry Jones, though. How about Dak Prescott? Let's start there. Let's start with Sunday overall. Glorious day for us this past Sunday, right? Eagles win, albeit another series of mini heart attacks. Still a victory. Washington loses. Dallas gets clobbered. We're going to get to that here in a second. And the Giants lose at home. Again, this time to the Bengals. Daniel Jones looking every bit the part of a massively overrated and bust first-round pick quarterback. But the most fun game of the day, for me anyways, and I'm sure for all of you, is, let's be honest, that Eagles game was not all that much fun. Wins are fun. Good Lord. Lions 47. Girls 9. In Dallas. It's the second time this season that those Blue Star bitches have been lit up like a damn Christmas tree in their own house. Second time. Remember, the Saints annihilated them 44-19 in their home in the girls' home opener this year. Right? That was when everybody was like, "Oh my God, the Saints are gonna," and they fell off a cliff. With the loss, Dallas drops to 3-3 on the season. I mean, it's not awful. It's not great. It's average, right? But it's a very weird 3-3. And that's what makes this so much fun. This is why we're going to spend so much time on the Cowboys this week, because the 3-3 is not what you would imagine at all. They are 3-0 on the road with wins at Cleveland, at the Giants, and at the Steelers. Okay? Only one of those teams is halfway decent, the Steelers. In those 3 games, they have outscored those teams 73-49. Damn right. English, I said it. Blue Star bitches. In those 3 road wins, they have outscored their opponents 73-49. However, this is still a little skewed here. This is not like, it's what is that, 24 points? It's not like they won each game by 8. They are, so they beat Cleveland 33-17. So of the 24-point differential, 16 of it came against Cleveland. It's 67% of the differential. The other 2 games were decided by a total of 8 points. Steelers one you can get because the Steelers play good defense, but they only beat the Giants by 5. And the Giants are bad. Okay? Giants are not a good football team. Total of 8 points between them. Now, you would think if they were 3-0 on the road, you would think Dallas, coming into this year, if they had played 3 games on the road and 3 games at home, and they were 3-0 on the road, you would think they would be what? At worst, what? 5-1 at the absolute worst? They're 3-3. They have lost all 3 of their home games, and that's what makes this so fun and so strange at the same time. They're 0-3 at home with losses to New Orleans, who now looks terrible, Baltimore, good team, and Detroit, obviously a good team. In those 3 games, they've been outscored 119-61 at home in Dallas. This is also skewed. The 28-25 loss to Baltimore only accounts for 2.5% of the differential, of the 58-point differential. The other 2 games were decided by a total of 55 points. They got annihilated 44-19 by the Saints in their home opener, and they got absolutely smoked by Detroit 47-9 this past Sunday. The worst loss that they've had at home since Jerry Jones bought the team. This is a Dallas team that had almost looked unbeatable at home before they took that absolute rogering at the hands of the Packers in the playoffs last year. Remember, leading up to it, they were like, what was it, 15-1 or something in their last 16 at home or something like that. Then they get mugged by the Packers in that playoff game, and now it's carried over into this year. I mean, Detroit, Jesus Christ, Detroit was running out of guys to try to get touchdowns to. They're throwing passes to linemen. Want to look for reasons why? Well, Dak Prescott, the highest paid player in the league, was 17-33 for 178 yards and 2 interceptions versus Detroit. Anybody see that pick he tossed in the end zone? It was a beautiful throw if you're a defensive back. I mean, you may as well just point it at the defensive back and went, here. In the losses, he's averaged 283 yards per game, which is also skewed because 2 of those 3 losses, like we mentioned, were absolute blowouts, and they had to throw the ball all game long. In those losses, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 2 fumbles. In the wins, he's averaged 250 yards per game with 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So, what is this telling you? That the more reliant they are on Dak, the less likely they are to win football games. Just look at that line right there. He has performed better. His yards per game are 33 yards higher in their losses, albeit because they had to throw all game long. But the yards per game come up like that because why? Because he's not good early in those losses. And these things turn into blowouts. And then he has to throw the ball. He's compiling stats at the end of the game. Like the Baltimore game. Baltimore took their foot off the gas a little too early in that one, and Dallas came roaring back in that 4th quarter. But still, they were just not good. Want to take a look at CeeDee Lamb? 2nd highest paid wide receiver in the league, right behind Justin Jefferson. He hasn't gone over 100 yards receiving in a game yet. He had a game over 100 yards total, where he had 98 receiving and 8 rushing. He's had 3 games where his yards per target are under 7 yards. He's only scored 2 touchdowns overall so far. And his catch percentage is under 60% in 5 of the 6 games. So he's getting targeted. And he's catching the ball less than 60% most of the time. 2nd highest paid wide receiver in the league, with the highest paid player in the league throwing him the ball. And these are the results. And what do you see on the sidelines because of it? Well, they're at each other's throats. You can see CeeDee Lamb mouthing off to Dak on the sidelines. Can you blame him? You're making $60 million a year. Right? So, I mean, I'm bashing him for the under 60% in 5 of the 6 games, but I wonder if we went back and actually looked at film, how many of them are good throws? Right? I mean, just because you're getting targeted doesn't mean the throws, right on the numbers. How many are good throws? How many are good throws versus how many are, somewhat off a bit that the second highest paid receiver in the league should come down with? I guess that would be something to look at. And I could try to find a deeper stat like that, but I don't know that a lot of you guys would be all that interested in it. I love all that crap, but I don't think a lot of you guys would. But again, you can see the friction between the two of them, and it's glorious. Then how about the defense? Yes, I know Lawrence and Parsons have been out. I got it. But let's not act like Micah Parsons was lighting the world on fire even before he got hurt. Coming into the year, one of the odds-on favorites to win Defensive Player of the Year, he wasn't doing shit. Not a damn thing. Bigger loss, Dan Quinn vacates that defensive coordinator spot in Dallas, moves on to be the head coach in Washington. That defense does not look nearly the same. Hate to say I told you so, but we said that here. Look, the bottom line, guys, is as a team, really, they are Dak to CeeDee Lamb, and that's really it. Okay? They have no run game to speak of, which I know all of you and myself and everyone else you talked to, you saw that coming when they made no attempt to bring in a stud running back in the offseason. Not that any of us were crying about it, right? And let's not act like there weren't guys out there. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, all of these guys were available. They made no attempt at any of it. Instead, they brought back Zeke Elliott, who was washed up when he left the first time. Completely worthless. And he joins a backfield of Rico Dowdle and one away. Of Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn. They're so bad in the backfield that they are lining up CeeDee Lamb as a halfback in certain play packages. It is a disaster running the ball. They have an offensive line that is sporadically healthy. Their tight end, nothing spectacular. This is a team that is 100% reliant on their highest paid player in the league, quarterback, throwing the ball to the second highest paid player, highest paid receiver in the league. If that doesn't work, they're dead. They're absolutely dead because they have to throw the ball so much that if it's not working, it leads to a lot. It leads to a lot of 3 and outs. And then what happens? Off goes the ball. Defense that's already not playing well gets gassed. We've all seen this happen 1,000 times, including in Philadelphia. They get gassed. They get clobbered. And then comes the real biggest problems that you see with Dallas. They cannot stop the run, which means if they have to mount a comeback and get their defense off the field, stopping the clock and all that, they can't do it. Not consistently anyways. And they can't run the ball, which means even if they have a lead late, if it's a tight game, they struggle to run the clock out. This is why you're seeing CeeDee Lamb line up as a halfback. If CeeDee Lamb were to get hurt, checkmate, dude. It's over. We talked about that, and you guys all agreed preseason. We talked about it going into the year. It is Dak to Lamb, and if they are one CeeDee Lamb injury away from being an offense as abysmal as the New York Giants. It's that simple. So there's all of your team problems and team things that have been going on with the Cowboys that are just so much fun to talk about. And now we move to the man of the hour. Let's get to the real fun. Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, who has been on a tirade all week long. I mean, look, we all want Jerry to live forever, right? I mean, if you're a Birds fan and you say differently, you're just a damn fool. As long as he lives, he's going to want control. He's going to want to be the GM, and they will continue to look like this or choke in the playoffs or whatever. That's just who they are with Jones at the helm like that. So let's take a look at some of his tirade this week, right? Let's just see here. After the game, we'll start there. Let's read you some stuff. You know what? We'll get this back up here again in case any of our friends want to hop in and bash the Cowboys. Jerry Jones addresses Mike McCarthy's job status after very concerning Cowboys loss. Let's see. Jones football team was served a large piece of humble pie on the geriatric owner's 82nd birthday Sunday as the Cowboys were decimated by the Lions 47-9. Jones described the loss, the worst home defeat that the Cowboys have suffered since he bought the franchise in 1989, as both humbling and very concerning as the team attempts to figure out where things go from here. Cowboys have struggled at home all season. We just documented all of that. But Sunday's loss was on another level. No, I would beg to differ. It was just a revisited level that the Saints already took them to in week 1. So to quote Jerry Jones, we've got to assess, and we've certainly got a bye week, but there's nothing magic about a bye week. You can do some things differently within 3 days of some of the things that bit us out there today. This was very concerning, and it was very humbling. And it felt bad because of all of our great fans, especially the ones in the stadium, and certainly the ones that are all about the Cowboys. This was a shocker. I thought we would do a lot of things better in that football game, you think? And I think we can. We just didn't do them out there today and don't have a lot of answers. What are you going to do about it? We're going to go to work. So he sounds a little humble, sounds defeated, sounds like, he's probably going to go and jump McCarthy's fat ass for a while. But doesn't sound like McCarthy's going anywhere. Jones looked miserable during the course of the game as the Fox broadcast flashed to the owner's box at AT&T Stadium after Lions running back David Montgomery scored a rushing touchdown in the second quarter. The Cowboys owner did shoot down the idea that he's given any consideration to firing head coach Mike McCarthy. To quote Jones, "Oh, I haven't even considered that. I'm not considering that, so you're clear. I'm not considering that. Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you? Okay, well, I'm not going to hypothetical with you about what I consider coaching change in the light of the timing we're sitting here with. I'm not at all." So he comes unraveled, right, as the questions kept coming. But it gets better. It gets so much better. Obviously frustrated by the continued questions about his coach, the quarterback, the 2 times getting blown out at home, 3 home losses, 3-3 on the year. Team looks terrible. What are you going to do about it? Blah, 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 blah. Jones goes on 103.5. What is it? 103.5? Jerry Jones calls out radio hosts during feisty interview over Cowboys struggles. And here's where it gets really good. Jerry Jones got heated during his weekly radio appearance Tuesday when he was about to be asked whether the Cowboys' lack of aggressiveness in the offseason has played a part in their 3-3 start. Longtime owner and GM appeared to even threaten the jobs of hosts Shan Sheriff, RJ Choppy, and Bobby Belt. And here we go, quote Jerry Jones. "Folks, you are not going to want to miss this. This is awesome." Jones comes unglued. "Listen, let me tell you what I'll do about it. I will let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years, okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over the radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with dishwater, you'd have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not, and I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners listening to me talk about it. This is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over the reasons that I did something and that I'm sorry I did it. That's not your job." So he's pissed. He's telling the radio hosts who are interviewing him what their job is. Their job is to interview him. They're doing it, and he's telling them they're not doing their job. Further goes on, that's not your job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, men. No, I'm not kidding. So now he's going to have their jobs. He's lost his shit, and there we go. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. Califoot, not letting you in until you take that name down. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. Jones told the 105.3 hosts, if you or any 5 or 10 like you need to come to this meeting I'm going to in Indy. The 32 teams here. You're geniuses. Okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights? I mean, this goes on and on and on forever. I'm not going to read it all to you. I'm sure you've seen the, you've either heard it or seen it or whatever. It just doesn't stop. I mean, this article and his quotes go on forever. I cannot tell you how funny this was to me, how awesome it's been to see him absolutely unravel. And nice Hooters sweatshirt there, Breaker 19.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Hey, I just had a question for you quick. Do you think the Eagles are regretting bringing Nick back?
No, not yet. Because I not yet. I mean, you got to keep in mind they are 3-2. It hasn't looked great, but you're also not going to fire a coach after a loss, after a win. You know what I mean?
What I mean by that is we hired 2 coaches. Now, names, I'm lucky I know your name sometimes, Adam. But
Vic Fangio for the defense and Kellen Moore on the offensive side.
Right. We hired those 2 coaches to call the plays. We hired those 2 coaches to basically do what Nick was doing last year, to regroup this team into making it better, right?
Well, you needed better coordinators. The coordinators last year were a disaster.
Okay. That being said, we're not doing that. And that's why I'm asking, do you think they're regretting this whole move and giving Nick whatever role he has, and just getting a new coach and just, doing things better that way?
So I think if there's any truth to the rumors and some of the statements that Nick has made where he's dabbling in offensive and defensive play calling, I think if there's truth to that, and let's say it's even worse, I know Captain Demps agrees, the Eagles' offense doesn't look like a Kellen Moore offense. It looks very much like Nick Sirianni's offense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And if that's the case, then yeah, they probably regret bringing him back. But I think we all thought going into this year that they specifically brought in 2 coordinators, one in Vic Fangio, who's been in the league for a very long time, is well respected around the league, and could step in as an interim head coach if necessary. And then Kellen Moore on the offensive side, who's been rumored to be a head coaching candidate at some point. I think those were on purpose moves to say, hey, Nick, turn it, we have to get this under control, or your replacements are already on your staff.
How long do you think it's going to be until they can this guy? Now,
I think if they were going to do it, yeah, go ahead.
We're hearing rumors about practice now. Okay, I don't want to sound like Allen Iverson, but we're hearing things about practice now with him playing 50 Cent songs. This guy's a clown. Keenan,
yeah.
I feel sorry for you on your birthday that he had to do that to you, and the fans, and just chirp at him. I mean, dude, you got to put up or shut up now. And then if you don't put up, those people in Philly are going to have your head. They're going to run out of his ass.
So a couple of years ago when we were winning, 2022, when we were winning and we looked dominant and he was yelling at fans on the sidelines and stuff, it was fun. It was a character thing.
Yep.
That happens when you're playing well, right? It's kind of like, what's the movie? Bull Durham, right? Where Kevin Costner's character, Crash Davis, is trying to bring Nuke LaLoosh and coach him into being getting to the show. And he holds up the shower shoes. He says, your shower shoes have fungus on them. He says, when you win 20 in the show, you can have fungus on your shower shoes and people think you're colorful. Until then, it makes you a slob. And he throws the shower shoe back at him. It's the same concept here. When you're winning, things are going well, all those antics make you look like a fun character. When things are struggling, you might be winning a few games, but it doesn't look good, and everybody thinks you're the problem. When you're then yelling at people on the sideline, you look like you look like a slut. You look like an ass. You look like a clown. You look immature for the position, I think would be the best way to put it.
Yeah. No,
that's how I feel about Nick. I think he's just immature for the position. And that was a lot of what we heard when he got hired, was that he was closer to being a position coach than he was being a head coach. And, it clicked in 2022, but I think that was a lot because all of the play calling and play design went to Shane Steichen.
And that's why I texted you on Sunday. I know Saturday we were at each other's necks. I mean, Ruth went to USC, and, you're a Penn State buff. So, but that's why I texted you and said, how long until this asshole's out of here? I mean, this guy's a clown. I just wish, but then again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Who do we get? So I don't know. I mean, we're at a win-win, we're at a lose-lose situation here.
It would be somebody on the. It would be if they were to dismiss Nick now. My thoughts would be it would be either Kellen Moore or Vic Fangio that would take over the team for in the interim for the season. My thing is, unless this becomes a complete shit show, right? Like they just come off the rails and we end up 6-11 or some god awful whatever. I don't think they're going to fire him during the year. If you were going to do that, it would have been the bye week.
Yep.
Yeah. And the fact that the bye week was so damn early, and all of that early travel, and all of the injuries, and 3 of the 4 teams we played are, NFC playoff teams, and we were still 2-2. It was really kind of hard to justify firing them at that point.
Right.
And so now you got to play 13 straight. You really need continuity there. But I don't know, is he a problem with the continuity of the team too? He might be. It doesn't look like Jalen Hurts cares for the fucker at all, to be honest with you.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't.
And I'm not trying to excuse Jalen Hurts' turnovers for that, right? Like, you not liking the coach or whatever doesn't force you to fumble the football. That's a Jalen Hurts problem. However, didn't turn the ball over at all on Sunday, right? Slow start, didn't look great in the first quarter. For whatever reason, our whole team looks like shit in the first quarter, right? All of them. That's an Aaron Judge home run right there.
Anybody on base?
No.
Damn.
No, we don't. Actually, yeah, it was a 2-run shot.
So
that game's tied. Yeah.
Thank you. I actually have you guys tonight.
Oh, yeah, did you put money on the Yanks?
And that was my last point before I go in here because it's cold. I'm not in Texas anymore. I said to Ruth, I'm about to go back down south because it's getting cold up here. But
I did not have a good feeling about tonight's game. This isn't gonna be a sweep or anything. Cleveland's not.
I told you numerous times it's gonna be you and the Dodgers. So
yeah, no, I expect it to be us and the Dodgers. I just don't think we're gonna come in. I'd be surprised if this thing. I don't know. If the Yankees come back and win this game tonight, then I'd be surprised if it goes past 5. But if the Indians can win this game tonight, I think it goes 6.
One more thing, and I'm going back in. Who do you have tonight?
What do you mean?
Saints and Broncos. I'm trying to look at these. I can't find anything that it looks good.
The last I saw, it was what was it? I think it's Broncos. The Broncos giving 2.5 in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the Saints have looked awful since those first 2 games. They have been terrible, and the Broncos, while they haven't been world beaters, they're not that bad. I feel like they're daring you to take New Orleans.
If anything, would you go on a prop bet for Kamara for a touchdown? I know it's a minus 170, but like I said, I don't see anything really worth putting money on.
I probably would, just because of his dual threat. He can catch balls out of the backfield too. It doesn't have to be on the ground. Yeah. I would probably take that. And if I lost it, but I would probably take that one. Yeah. I don't think I would touch the game. That game is weird.
You know me, Adam. I can't untouch anything.
I know you can't let a game go by without something on it. I get it, man. My boss is the same way. He's all the time. Yeah. They're giving 2.5. I'm like, I get it, man. But, I don't have a good feeling on tonight's game.
All right, brother. I'm going to let you go.
All right. Get in there and warm up, brother. Thanks for stopping in, man. Good talk to you.
Buddy. Yep.
Take care.
Bye.
Breaker19 joins us from the frozen tundra. What's wrong with 50 Cent? Nothing's wrong with 50 Cent. It's just a little, it's a little odd. It feels like he's trying to, Nick Sirianni, he's trying too hard, right? To placate. And did Stanton just get that one? Sure did. 4-3 Yankees. Back to back and a belly to belly. All right. Sorry. I know you guys are still down on baseball. But I told you we weren't going to have a whole lot of time for the Birds because we were going to talk a whole lot of shit about the Cowboys. So overall, your boner of the week, take your pick. It's the Cowboys as a whole. It's Jerry Jones. It's Dak Prescott. A little bit of CeeDee Lamb. I can't bash him too much because, his numbers are a lot reliant on Dak. But it's not like any of them have been that good. They just haven't. So we'll put this up one more time, and then we're going to talk Birds. And then we're going to get out of here. So, again, boner of the week, Cowboys. And don't get me wrong, I wish we could have conversations like that every single week. I really do. But we'll get on to the Birds here. And let me get this out of the way first. I still think Nick Sirianni's a problem. Okay, I do. I'm not saying he's the only problem. I'm not even really advocating to fire him at this point. Just because I don't know what that would do to the team going through the rest of the season here. But I do think he's a problem. He's dabbling in play calling on both sides of the fence, okay? And quite frankly, he sucks at it, all right? Kat, you and I have talked about this both on the, when we were in New Orleans, we talked a bunch about this as far as, 2020, half of 2021, all of 2023. And I'm telling you, I don't see a whole lot of difference in that offense compared to what we saw in those two other examples of when I believe Nick Sirianni has been too involved. High school Harry. Very good. Right there. It is, look, whether he gets fired or not, I do believe he is sitting on the hottest. He may very well be sitting on the hottest seat in the league. All right. So take that as you will. But it is hard to fire a coach after a win, even though he openly admitted that he screwed up a couple of play calls. There's also a school of thought that's saying he's taking that people out there seem to think maybe he's taking the brunt of it to shield his coordinators. I don't think so. Vic Fangio is a grown man, been in the league a long time, fully capable of taking that heat. Kellen Moore, if he's going to be a head coach candidate sometime, he's got to deal with some smoke too. So I don't think that's the case. It'd be different if there weren't other things that looked very much like a Nick Sirianni offense. But let's move on. We did get the win, 20-16. Series of many heart attacks, like we talked about. We'll start with the quarterback. We already talked about Nick. Got it. Let's get to the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Right? We've praised him for what he's done well. We've bashed him for what he hasn't done well. Look, another bad first quarter, not just by Jalen, but the entire offense. We have not scored any points in the first quarter yet this season. It's very, very frustrating, especially when we've mounted drives that stall or end in turnovers. Or, bad coaching decisions to not take the 3 points. That sort of shit. However, despite the slow start, Jalen Hurts finishes the game 16-25, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gets another 33 on the ground, kind of taking what was there. And the most important thing, he did not turn the ball over. He was smart with the football. That's what you need out of your quarterback. Make the plays that are there. Don't fuck it up, right? Let's be honest. Brown and Smith being back on the field makes a massive difference, right? There's just no question about that at all. Massive, massive difference. Brown goes for 6 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown. And let me tell you right now, I don't know that there is a more dangerous receiver in the league on 50-50 balls than A.J. Brown. I get that Justin Jefferson is the total package. I totally understand. I understand that CeeDee Lamb is a very talented wide receiver. I get a Jamar Chase, all that. I totally get it. But when you've got a 50-50 ball out there, you guys got to go make a play. A.J. Brown is just physically stronger than every corner in the league. And I don't even know how close it is. He's a nightmare in that match, in any kind of matchup like that. You get him one-on-one on the outside, I will throw that ball out there every single time. Captain Demps, the fact that it looks the same with new coordinators just lets you know he's the problem. Yeah, I totally agree. Mike English, Chip McKelly music, and that worked out well. Devontae Smith, 3 catches, 64 yards and a touchdown. He continues to prove that he is an elite route runner. And when given space, it's just as deadly as anyone in the league. Now, he's not the 50-50 ball nightmare that AJ is. Unless you get that ball way up where he can go up and high point the ball. But his route running, Cap, again, you Quimby and I have talked about Devontae a number of times. How did I describe it in Kansas City last year? His route running, his body control, the way he's able to contort to make the catch, still keep his feet inbounds near the sidelines, knowing where the sticks are. Just an incredibly smart, well-balanced wide receiver. The only thing he lacks is the size that A.J. Brown brings, right? So they complement each other incredibly well. Nice game for Calcaterra, 4 catches with 67 yards, but in order to do that, we had to lose Dallas Goedert for a few weeks. Look, I'd be lying if I didn't say that it's probably time in next year's draft to address the tight end position. Keep in mind, last year's draft was the same point in Ertz's career when we drafted Goddard as it would have been in Goddard's career had we drafted a tight end in last year's draft. So we're a year further than that. I don't know if Tyler Warren will fall down to us because I'm assuming we're going to be a late round pick. But if there was any way to get that kid out of Penn State, holy Moses, is he a playmaker? The disappointment on Sunday, not scoring in the first quarter, right? Jumping on the board early, especially at home. Lack of consistency in the run game, right? I know that that Saquon had 18 carries, but I never felt like there was a commitment to getting the run game into a rhythm. I guess would be my point in that, right? And you brought in this $40 million weapon, and again, I go to the Nick Sirianni thing. They get pass happy. Now, I get it, only 25 dropbacks, but when your stud running back only carries the ball 18 times. And Cleveland's front is very good, obviously anchored by Myles Garrett. A perennial defensive player of the year candidate. But let's be honest here. It's Saquon Barkley. You've got to find ways to get him going. The blocked 57-yard field goal is the reason why that game looked so close, though. Okay? The defense was outstanding all day long. Now Cleveland's offense stinks. Deshaun Watson is terrible. We all know it. But when you're a good defense and you're playing against a bad offense, you're supposed to beat them up, and we did. Okay? We dumped that pervert quarterback 5 times, and the only reason why he didn't throw an interception was because Mitchell and CeeDee Lamb they collided, both going after it. That pervert just floated it down there. It should have been Quinion Mitchell's first pick of the year. Overall, the Browns offense scored 9 points and had just 244 yards of total offense. The defense wasn't the problem on Sunday. All right? The blocked field goal was. And part of the reason for the blocked field goal, well, let's be honest, as much as I just praised Barkley for his playmaking ability, he had a chance to pick up that first down and just ran out of bounds short of the sticks. You can't do that there. get the first down, dive out of bounds, do whatever it is you got to do. And then we make a bad play call after that, which dumps Jalen and forces us into the 57-yard field goal, which then has a high snap, ball's down, but the prick left the laces in. Now, you saw the screen. I know, from wherever you're sitting at the link, you probably couldn't see it. Snap comes in high. I'm sure you all saw that. He gets the ball down, and immediately we see the laces are in. And all of us watching on the TV are screaming, laces in. Well, keep in mind, at that point, that's the only thing that's on the screen is the ball. And here comes Jakey's foot. Then the camera starts to slowly pan up. And I mean, before Jake's even making contact with this thing, when that camera got up to where Garrett was already coming over the line of scrimmage with his hand up. And a 57-yard field goal, Jakey's got to kick that low. Now it gets blocked. It takes an unfortunate bounce in their favor. And when you get into special team situations like that, you don't have the horses to then go and run somebody down. And unfortunately, they were able to scoop and score that thing. And that's really what makes this game look so close. If not for that, this is a blowout, guys. Right? You got to think if we're able to get the first down there, if Saquon got the first down, we're still on the move with a little bit of time left and two timeouts. I'm thinking we get at least 3 there. That makes it 23. If we get a touchdown there, now we're talking to 27, and the Browns still will have only scored 9 points. You're looking at the double-digit victory we all thought the game should have been. So it just feels like these situations, again, Cap, I'm going to keep coming to you, bud. Nick Sirianni making play calls, right? I get it. Saquon screwed up. He needed to get the first down there. He didn't. Tush push, whatever, and you have 2 timeouts. You didn't have to throw the ball there. My friend Roger yelled it out right away. Why didn't you run the ball? And at first I'm like, dude, there's only 32 seconds left. And I think about it for a minute. I'm like, you had 2 timeouts. For whatever reason, I thought we only had the 1 left. Once I remembered there were 2, I'm like, oh Jesus, yeah, you should have run the ball. You take the, you brotherly shove, you get the first down, you call the timeout, you still got 1 timeout in the end and probably, 25 seconds left? Don't tell me you still can't get at least 3 points out of that. Maybe even get a shot at the end zone. Didn't happen. We end up winning 20-16, and everybody's losing their minds. You're a bad series, a couple of, just a string of them. 3 in a row. Barkley doesn't get the first down. Calling a pass play when you should have called a run, obviously. And then the botched field goal. He jumped the line. I thought that was illegal. He didn't grab and jump over it. He was just up there. He's just up with his arm like this. I mean, it wasn't. Had it been illegal, they would have called it. But that's Myles Garrett, man. That's just the kind of shit he does when given an opportunity. So, still a win. It should have looked a lot better than it did. Again, just like the Saints game. That was a series of bad decisions. We had 460 yards of total offense that game to their, 214 or something like that. We win 15-12. Cap, that game in New Orleans, we should have been able to leave in the third quarter or the start of the fourth in a blowout victory. Didn't happen. The bad decisions have to stop. And I 100% agree with everyone that thinks that it's Nick Sirianni pulling the trigger on those. Like you said before, Cap, and it was perfectly stated, the fact that it looks the same with new coordinators lets you know he is the problem, and I agree. What they're going to do about it, you heard my conversation with Califoot just a little while ago. At this point, I don't know. We've got the Giants this weekend. That should be a win. And and that's on the road. So, I get it could be tough, but we should beat the Giants just based on sheer talent alone. And then we head here to Cincinnati, which is a winnable road game. It is. The Bengals defense is not good. Now their offense is something different. You know, you're going to have to find a way to at least try to contain Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But, you know, I expect to score points. I don't want to hear any more of this first quarter bullshit anymore where we can't get on the board. I want points. I want them early. I want to take, you know, we got 2 straight road games here. I want to take that home crowd out of it early, especially in New York, and just take their will from them. No reason why this team can't do it. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up here. I'm going to get back to my ball game over here. I hope you enjoyed the Dallas Cowboys banter for this week. I know Cap was saying he was looking forward to it. I hope I delivered. Hope we've entertained you for the last hour or so here. But for everybody in the room, Dave Califoot, thank you for joining us. Captain Demps, Mike English, Keaton Harmon, Lou Mancini, and Josh. Yeah, Josh was in here too. Anyone else who's listening, watching, but decides not to pop in the room and comment, that's okay too. We love having you, and we thank you all for joining us. Come on back again next week, and we should be celebrating a win over the Giants in our first division game of the year, right? Be nice to get that first division win on the road. Let's look forward to that. Let's look forward to next week and talking that as we head into Bengals week next week. And hopefully we can wipe our ass with their whiteout. Folks, that's going to do it here. Until then, this has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family, proudly brought to you by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located in Philadelphia, 2740 South Front Street in Philly. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party rates. Take care, kids. Enjoy the upcoming weekend. If the baseball playoffs are your thing, enjoy some of that tonight, tomorrow, through the weekend, whatever. Got a football game tonight. Football all weekend long. Go Georgia on Saturday. Califoot, forgot to tell you that earlier. Remember, have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That judge will not be back until Monday. Sunday. The hell am I talking about? Until Monday. And as always, folks, go Birds. All right, kids, that's going to do it here. I guess they're having trouble hearing they got that shit in their ear where they're trying to hear I don't know how they call pitches now. It drives me nuts. Anyways, take care, everybody. We love you.